let dad outdo you. No matter what it is, you can never let your dad have one over on you. Our guest here today watched the review video of his dad win a Kentucky state championship in 1999. And he said, Dad, I'll see your Kentucky state championship and I'll raise you a Tennessee state championship. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Deameion Leavell.
And you are the 2024, I believe, Class A state champion, correct?
It was 165, but yeah, it was Class A.
Oh, 165. That's my apologies. 165 state champion from Clinton High School in Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
And of course, those that don't know, your dad, Deameion Leavell, the 1999 145-pound state champion from Christian County. I think, yes, he was the first Christian County Hopkinsville video that I've done. We done him in Livingston's 96 and 97 video there in the hotel room
Yes, sir.
before the 22 state champion. Was you in the room when you watched Livingston's backflip?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you was in there or not. That reaction, everybody thinks it's staged. That's a true reaction. That's not staged. That's not set up. That was a true, genuine reaction. So for those that don't know your story, how do you get into wrestling? How do you find it? What's the spark that's like, I got to do this?
So whenever I was younger, my dad got me into the sport. He got me into it early. He got me into it real early. So watching the older kids wrestle and stuff, I was like, yeah, I want to do this. Seeing older kids win state titles and stuff like that coming to me, like I was the youngest who hung around them and stuff. Watching like a couple of my teammates, Jakarion Merritt and all of the above, all of them win state titles, I was like, yeah, I want to reach that goal, which I couldn't get to in my freshman year, which I placed, but I couldn't get to my exact goal. So going into my sophomore year, I was like, yeah, that's a goal that I want to reach and get to.
And you got to see some great wrestlers come through when you was at Christian County. Jakarion Merritt, you got to see Nico, you got to see JT Adams,
Yes, sir.
You got to see AJ Harvey. I mean, you got to see some absolute just bangers come through there. And now with the review series, you got to see Dad wrestle.
Yeah.
You got to see other guys that have been Livingston, got to see him wrestle, got to see all these names you've been seeing for years when you were in Christian County. But let's kind of, before we talk about your state tournament runs here, you and your family made the move south from Christian County to Tennessee. So kind of walk us through a little bit of that.
So the reason that we really moved was for my football and academic reasons. And I really wanted to boost my way of getting noticed in football. So I moved up here to where I knew Coach Keith, and so far it's been great. I done gained 3 football offers, Division I, Austin P. Marshall, and UT Martin. So far it's been good. So other than that, I just want to keep on moving.
Now, what position do you play, for those that don't know?
I play everything. They got me as an athlete. I play receiver, DB. I can play quarterback.
I got you. Know that, and that's having dudes like that on a team, man. It's hard to scheme against, whether it's offense, defense. You don't know where they're going to line up at. You don't know how they're going to attack you, whether it's on defense, bringing you off the edge, putting you in coverage, or offense, whatever. But it's great that you can have that that on your team, that type of individual on your team that you're like, all right, I need you to go make a play right here. I need you to do this, and boom. I got you, Coach. No problem.
Yes, sir.
I got you. So let's start off with your freshman year. You are, of course, at Christian County, 150 pounds. And when I was doing your bracket research, Kentucky State Tournament, finished up and got all the names. And you come in 7th place as a freshman, which is impressive. You're on the podium. That's great. But you had to wrestle Ryland Pinkston from Highlands, and Ryland was in the state finals this year. He came up a little bit short against Malachi Harris from Trinity. And
Yes,
then
sir.
you had to wrestle Max Speaker from St. Xavier. And Max was in the 165 state finals as well. So you had to wrestle two Kentucky state finalists last year as a freshman. Both those guys then were juniors. Of course, now their career's over with, being seniors as of this filming. But that experience, man, of being there in the state tournament, if you will, being in placement rounds, it's not just like any. It may have been in a high school gym because of we couldn't, we didn't get the horse part, but still, nevertheless, it's the state tournament. There's a different feel. There's a different vibe. You just know that there's more on the line when you're at the state tournament.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you come into your sophomore season and you're now wrestling in Tennessee, wrestling for Clinton High School. You traded in the red, white, and blue Colonels for, I believe it's black and orange, the Tigers, is that or Dragons? I'm sorry, right?
Yes, sir.
I had the Hoptown Tigers on my head there. So you went from being a Colonel to being the Dragon. Pretty cool. Now, Tennessee, what's the wrestling like there compared to Kentucky? I'm not going to say a better class, but is it like a different style of wrestling in Tennessee?
Oh, yes, sir. It is. It's way different style. I feel like in Kentucky, it's like you got your headhunters. So like in Kentucky, they're headhunting and they're scrapping. In Tennessee, I feel like it's more of like a funk style, and like they're like really into big like freestyle and stuff. So like I feel like it's more funk, but in Kentucky, it's scrapping down there. I'll tell you that.
I got you. I get that. That makes sense. So you guys are at the Williamson County Exposition Center, and I believe that's in Nashville, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And of course, if you know anything about Tennessee, you got Memphis on the west, on the, I guess, the western part of the state against the Arkansas there. Nashville's kind of in the center. And I believe you guys are more over like in the eastern part of the state, like towards Pigeon Forge area, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Knoxville
I got
area.
you. And just so the people that don't know, does all the classes come to that one area, or is it kind of split, or how does that work?
Yeah, all of them kind of come to the same area.
Okay, I didn't know how it was down there. I didn't know if it was split or how it went. But you start off the first round with Ethan Steele from Cheatham County.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where that is in Tennessee. I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments. But you win by a fall, 3 minutes and 44 seconds. So you're in, you're out, you get a fall. You don't really have to, you go to the second period, but it doesn't seem like you're, overexerting yourself. You can save some energy for the upcoming bouts. The quarterfinals, you win a 54-second fall over Tucker Ross from Saudi Daisy.
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time ago, but Saudi Daisy, I believe, used to come to some of Johnson Central's old meets back when Coach Matney was still alive, and I think he had some connections there. So I do, when I saw that, I do remember seeing I've officiated Saudi Daisy, or at least I thought I could be wrong, but I think I have in the past. You get to the semifinals, you're wrestling Joshua Bingham from Anderson County.
Yes, sir.
You win that by an 8-2 decision. So kind of talk a little bit about that match, because you've had two pins, and this one you had to go to a decision. Just couldn't get a turn, or talk to us there.
So that's our rival school. So I hadn't seen them in the semi, so it was already an intense match. So I'd already seen them twice. I beat them both the time. So it's the third time I see them in the state semis. I'm going in. I'm really just trying to work. I really want to trying to put up points, but I didn't put up as many points as I wanted to, or I didn't get the fall. Mm-hmm. But I come out with an 8-2. I take them down, and I think I get one turn. And then I think the 2 points that he did get, I let him go. So I gave him the
Okay.
points, so that's
I
really
got
it.
you. No, that makes sense. I just was curious. Then you get to the finals. You're wrestling Wyatt Howard from Pigeon Forge, and I brought that up earlier because I believe you guys are pretty close to Pigeon Forge, and I'm sure you probably wrestled Wyatt a few times. So, had you guys wrestled earlier in the season?
Nah, we didn't wrestle until the regional finals. He got me at the regional finals. He beat me 1-0.
Okay.
I didn't escape. Kind of I wasn't really too worried about it because I knew I would see him either. And then I seen him the next weekend at our sectionals.
Okay.
Him in the finals. He beat me again. He beat me 6-4. He got me that time. And then I knew I was probably gonna see him in the state finals. So and then once we got to the state finals, I knew I had to handle business.
No, I get it. I completely understand. Now, we made reference earlier to your dad being in the state finals 1999. Of course, your dad goes on to win it. Your brother was in the 2018 finals. That beat it, of course, comes up a little bit short
Yeah.
against Gray there from Caldwell County.
Yes, sir.
But that video's on the channel nonetheless. So your dad, your older brother, have both been in the state finals before. Your first time getting to be there, did they come up to you and give you any like secretive advice, or they just tell you go out wrestle your match? Kind of what, because it's a big help to have dad and a brother both in the state finals before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dad was just really talking about he didn't really say too much. He was just like, if you want it, you gotta go get it. And that's really he left it up to me to wrestle. My brother, he was just saying wrestle like it was another match. Don't let the big lights get in your head. Just wrestle like it's another match on a Saturday.
No, I get it. I completely understand. So, like, this is the Class A. How many classes does Tennessee have? Do you know?
Okay, so we have so all the private schools wrestle together, and then
Okay.
it's 1A and then a 2A.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know how many classes they have. So we're going to pull up your
single A 165-pound finalist from Pigeon Forge, two-time medalist Wyatt Howard, and his opponent from Clinton High School, Deameion Leavell.
state finals match video here, and it looks like there's one mat. Did they run here at the Tennessee State Tournament? Did they run like all the 1A, 2A, and private school together, or did they wait for everybody to finish, or how did that go?
So the private school, they actually had their state tournament a week before ours.
Okay.
So then on the other side, we had the 2A, and then we had the girls in the middle, and then we had the 1A on the far side that where I'm at.
I got you. And a good friend of mine, we actually refereed the Kentucky State Tournament this year together. Jake Lowry, he was selected to work the girls' state tournament, and I believe he's the assistant here on your match, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. It's been a day or two since you wrestled this. I was excited to get you on because I've got to see you wrestle from elementary school, got to see you in middle school state finals. Every time we'd come down to Hoptown, I think we would somehow run into each other.
Yes,
and whenever
sir.
I saw that you won, I was like, I messaged your dad. I said, I gotta get him on the channel. Have to.
Yes,
There's no other way around it. So I'm glad to get you on, man. 165-pound state finals. Let's do this. All right, so from this neutral position here, for those people that don't know, are you a better neutral wrestler? Are you a better top-bottom wrestler? What are we looking to do here?
Really, I feel like I'm better on top, but I can get to my shots. Right now, I was trying to work the outside single, and I wasn't trying to stay on the outside single too long because I knew the week before he got me in a roll type situation where I was on the outside and he rolled me through. that's how I really lost. He got a big move. So I was kind of thinking, no big moves, keeping my match, keep the pace going, and try to see what I can do.
I understand, and I would have to imagine that seeing him 2 times back to back in the finals, that when you come back to practice, you guys are like, all right, this is what he got us on. Let's stay away from it, right?
Yes, sir.
So shoot in, get a deep whizzer there. Nothing yet, nothing yet, nothing yet. Got a nice scramble there. And you're talking about like a funk style. That's a perfect example right there of what you were talking about.
Yes, sir.
All right. You get back into a tie. He shucks it off. You're being very patient.
Yes, sir. I didn't want to rush nothing because
Yeah.
I knew because the week before I was ahead. I was going, and I didn't want to rush into it, and I didn't want to get gas. So I just was trying to be patient and waiting for anything that comes my way.
No, I get it. I understand. You get there into that whizzer. Both of you look pretty content to just kind of let the time run out. So you win the toss and you take down. Was that a strategic move or?
Yeah, I knew I needed to get points on the board fast, so I chose bottom. I knew I could get out quick. Didn't want to stay on bottom too long.
Right, there you go. 5 seconds in, you get out, you get your escape, so you're up 1-0. And speaking as a referee, you can just tell in some matches when you know it's going to be an escape for an escape. Both guys are good on their feet. Nobody can really break the ice, and you know whoever's taken down is going to get cut, or they're going to let them up on their own. So you know that it's going to be a banger. And before I knew I knew you won, of course, but when I was watching this for the first time, I was like, I bet I know what happens. And I don't want to ruin the ending, but it's like, I bet I know how this ends up.
Yes, sir.
Wrestling back-to-back weeks, was he still trying the same stuff he hit you, got on you the first 2 times, or had he switched up anything that you noticed?
Yeah, he was trying to attack. At the beginning, he was like the first 2 matches, he was kind of like timid and he wasn't trying to attack, but he was trying to attack. So I was trying to stay on my defense, make sure I wouldn't give up nothing big.
I got you. I understand. There we get a stalemate. We're back neutral.
You're not putting one in front of the other.
And just as a little bit of a side note, in December of 20, I got to go down to Gatlinburg and got to officiate a big tournament for a wrestling company called New Way there at the convention center. Had like 35 mats going. It was crazy.
Yeah.
This guy was probably there because he would have been probably a freshman, 8th grader then.
Yes, sir.
You try to hook that ankle right there, and he stands up on you, gets to his feet. You're able to bring him back down. He gets his head out, and you just basically cut him and say, all right, let's finish this thing on our feet, right?
Yes, sir.
Most people or most coaches, I should say, they tell guys or wrestlers now, I don't want to say just guys, but they tell wrestlers, stay off your knees, stay off your knees. But you're good enough, you're fast enough that you're away from me, but you're on your knees. I was noticing that, and I was like, I bet you that is something they have worked on. So you got 1 minute left, tied up 1-1. Trying for that wrist control. Trying for that wrist control. You've got an underhook on that left, or yeah, your left side there. But
I go to double unders right here. Then I switch off to the right under.
mm-hmm. Try. Nothing. Out of bounds. 9 seconds left. There it is. You shoot in. You try for it again. You roll out of bounds. Shoot in, get that. And the time expires. I knew this match was going to go to overtime when I watched the first period. Like, this match is going to overtime. So you're in overtime here, man. And you go back to what you know.
Yes, sir.
You go back to what you've probably drilled 1,000 times, if not more. Off a reshot, you step in, you get that single, and boom, 2. And that should be the match, Mr. Official. There it is. You win. You give us a axe chop. I guess that's what that's called. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Come over, and this is the best part of the video. You say, I'll see your flip, Livingston, and I'll raise you one. You go running off to your teammates. I believe I see D in there. He picks you up.
Yes, sir.
And just you wrestled great, man. You really did. Absolutely wrestled a phenomenal match.
Joshua Bingham of Anderson County. In 5th place, Tucker Ross of Soddy Daisy. In 4th place, Nicholas Taylor of White House Heritage. In 3rd place, Quinston Davis of Mumford.
Way to go!
In 2nd place, Wyatt Howard of Pigeon Forge. And your single A 165-pound state champion, Deameion Leavell.
That is not his name. Deameion Leavell.
Go, Booby!
Good job.
Oh. Yeah, let me see them pearly whites.
They're natural. They're natural. No bracelets.
Oh yeah.
You did what you had to. And there's that great photo. I'm not sure who posted it, but of you when you were, a little tyke of working that single, and then you used it in the state finals to win a state championship.
Yes, sir.
So it had to feel, it had to feel, it had to feel good. And I know you were, 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 you had to feel good to win it, but it had also to feel great knowing that something that had been, drilled into the brain from when you first started paid off, right?
Sure.
And now, for those that don't know, does Clinton have a pretty storied wrestling program, or were you the first state champion, or how does it go?
Actually, well, the program was actually really new. So I was their first wrestling state champion, and I was the first state champion in Clinton history.
Oh,
So like
no kidding.
all sports. Yes, sir.
That's great, man. That's great. And it's always good to see the first state champion be a wrestler. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Always good to know that you can always say wrestling puts you on the map first. Now, of course, it's not been that long since you wrestled it,
Yeah.
but when you watch it back, does it play out the way you remember it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I still beat up on myself because I feel like I shouldn't have let it go into overtime. I should have put more points on the board. But I mean, to win, I mean, I got it done.
Hey, and that's all that it's not going to say in the history books or whatever. It's not going to say he could have scored 3 more takedowns. This is going to say
Yeah.
state champion. That's all it's going to. And the reason I ask you that is because when we met up with your dad, the first video that I got was the 1999 state finals from the archive, and I sent D the match video down, and I told him, I was like, man, don't let Deameion watch this until I want it to be a genuine reaction. And I believe you guys watched it a week or so before the state tournament, and Deamion's reaction when we're watching it there for his review video, that was a genuine reaction too. And I think it had been 22, 23 years since he had saw his. So it was kind of cool that, we was able to do his all that time. And then we were able to do yours, just a week or so after you won it. So it's kind of cool, man. Technology's changed the world on things.
Yes.
And you're just a sophomore. So you've got the ability to be a 3-timer.
Yes, sir.
And that way you can always have that over dad's head. You know what I mean? Hey, I've got 3, Buster. You've only got the 1. I've got 3, right?
Yes, sir.
So we like to give everybody the opportunity before we wrap videos up. Is anything you'd like to say or add or shout outs or anything like that? The floor is yours.
I just want to give a thanks to God. Without God, a lot of people wouldn't be where they're at right now. So I just want to thank God for the opportunity that He gave me and to do what I did.
No, I completely understand. And now, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the hippest guy on the block, but enlighten me. What was that called? What was that celebration called at the end? That way I'll know from now on. Was that just something that you come up with on the fly there, or?
No, it was actually supposed to be a rock star. It was supposed to be a guitar. I strung it a whole bunch of times.
Okay, I get it. What am I even? I got it. I got you. Like, okay, now I feel like a goober. I should have got that. Being in the Music City, smashing a guitar. What am I thinking? What am I thinking, man? You wrestled good. You wrestled smart. You wrestled like you'd been there before. Even though it was your first state finals, you can tell you've wrestled in big matches. You can tell you've had the pressure on you, and you got it done when you needed to get it done. And excellent job. Excellent job. And thank you you're our first, which I only do Kentucky state championship review videos, but if it's somebody that I know I got a connection to, then I'll be more than happy to do. So I believe you're the only Tennessee wrestler that I know. So if you win it in 25 and 26, we'd love to have you back, and that way we can rub it a little bit more in your dad's face and say, now he's got 2, dad's only got 1. Now he's got 3, dad's only got 1. And you can see he's at the head of the table, the guy with the 3 state championships. So, ma'am, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. You wrestled good, and we wish you the best in your football and in your wrestling. And now we can say in Kentucky and Tennessee, because both states now offer girls wrestling. We
Yes,
will
sir.
see you guys and girls on the mats.